Good evening once again. M.M Out here, over there, all over the place. But right now, right here. With the Apostle Leroy Scantlebury, he who ran in the last two general elections in St. Peter. Now, welcome, sir.
How you Pleasure being here with you, Mr.
Pleasure here too.
Always.
Now, right off the bat, one of my subscribers, an old schoolmate, Edward, also known as TC, lives in Fusted, St. Lucie.
Right.
Today is his 64th birthday. So you're playing a good innings actually, Edward, TC. So happy birthday to you. And it's even better because he hails to Australia, and Australia actually beat the West Indies today. Okay. So you know that he's actually very happy today. Okay? And you know, he has something for you. But anyhow, while I'm on this note, I'm not going to call your name, but RT, that is your initials. I know you're one of my supporters, but I will not condone you sending things to me with derogatory statements about the Prime Minister. I don't allow that. She is our Prime Minister, regardless of whatever you think of her. Yes. She is our Prime Minister. She is my Prime Minister, his Prime Minister, and yours.
Yes.
So, you know, don't use those kind of things on my forum. Okay? And I spoke to you privately about this, but I decided to do it, you and your group, because there are about 6 of you who are doing this.
Right.
And I want you to, you know, just stop doing it. I don't like it. Otherwise I'll block you from off my show. Okay, so Apostle.
Yes, sir.
Over the past week, one of my subscribers has brought this to my attention. There was a post called The Mayor of Bridgetown. Bridgetown used to have a mayor.
That's correct.
And that mayor was Mr. Motley, the Prime Minister's grandfather. Right.
Dayton Motley.
Dayton Motley.
That's correct.
Now, one of the first things that Mr. Barrow did after independence is to abolish that post, which actually took away all the influence that he had. And what we are seeing right now is a systematic way of destroying the legacy of Errol Barrow. I don't know if it's a form of revenge or what. Okay? And this was brought to my attention by one of my subscribers.
Okay? Interesting. Very interesting.
Yes, one of my subscribers. They have noted that now the airport thing that Mr. Dennis Kelvin, former member of Parliament of St. Lucie, is always talking about, that was the actual idea of Mr. Barrow. He was the one who had that conception.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay? Now the NAS building, that was his thing. So they've destroyed that. They have destroyed the idea of the airport. His house was left to rot. And that should not be. The first Prime Minister ever in Barbados, his house should actually be a shrine. Even visitors come here, you go and visit. Look, this is where our first Prime Minister, this is where he used to live.
Should be part of our history.
Part of our heritage. Now, I actually know that the Bowery boys were actually repairing that house and fixing it. They stopped them from doing it. This present administration, they stopped them from doing it. Right? A few weeks ago, the Business Association, they had a meeting. They were talking about, there were too many holidays in Barbados.
Right.
Funny thing that the holiday they were seeking to abolish is Errol Barrow Day.
Yeah, that's true.
I find that these things are not a coincidence.
No, sir.
Right? And Miss Motley, revenge, whether it's served hot or cold, is still revenge. And I hope that these things are not being done because Mr. Barrow took away the post of mayor from your grandfather. I hope, actually I don't think so, but I hope not. Because there seems to be a systematic way of doing these things. Okay? I don't know your opinion on that, but that's just my opinion.
Okay.
Okay? So just like I told my supporters not to say these things about you, I hope you're not going in that direction, because I'm keeping a close watch on it. And I brought it to the attention of all the people who are going to be watching me, because I'm seen all over the world.
That's good.
Yeah. Now, Apostle.
Yes, sir.
Now, Kurt Humphrey, the member for St. Michael South, I think it is, St. Michael South, yeah. Before I get into that, one of my subscribers sent me a video of the beach up at the boatyard,
Right.
where these people went on one of the jet skis, and then there's this security guard who, they wear these bands around their hand. They're taking them away because they were on the jet ski. Okay? But it was also brought to my attention that this security guard is a prison officer. So it's more like that. If you're a civil servant, are you allowed to work other places? I don't think so.
I'm not, definitely familiar with the laws regarding that. But I guess if the person is functioning during their off time, I don't think it's so much of an issue.
No.
In terms of the civil servant and then having a secondary job, I think there are laws that prohibit that.
Yes, a civil servant.
Yes,
if you're working privately, you can also have 10 other jobs. But if you're a civil servant, you're not allowed to have another job. Now this guy, I understand, is a prison officer, which means that he is a civil servant. So he should not be working at boatyard, far less taking the bands off the tourist hands and stop the jet ski guys from making money. And I'm going to investigate that. So if you know that you are a civil servant, I will be coming after you. Get that straight. Now, Kurt Humphrey, who is the minister, well, he's a minister because they're all ministers, but the member for St. Michael South, he was talking about the abolition of transition tax and the and overtime, and putting in transaction tax but abolishing overtime, and the acceptance of moonlighting, which is just what that same guy is doing. That's moonlighting. So he's talking about the acceptance of moonlighting. So Kurt Humphrey himself is illegal. He is trying to get it to be accepted now, which is something that Dennis Kelman, the former member of St. Lucie, has been trumpeting for the last 20 years about moonlighting. So if you're a civil servant, you cannot have. I know a very good friend of mine who's the actual BLP supporter to the hilt, and he's been working in the hotel industry, and he works in the Ministry of Finance, and this is illegal. But they don't look at these things, so to them that's okay, right? Also in St. Lucie, because we talk about the north.
Yes, we do.
Right. Up in St. Swithins and St. Lucie, which is actually an ideal spot for an airport, they want to dig up there now and make room for housing. They don't want to make it an airport, but they want to make room for housing. What's your take on that?
Well, again, if you're going to be building houses in the ideal spot for a secondary airport, that would be tantamount to killing that vision.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we were talking about at the beginning.
We're talking again, as I've said many times on the broadcast. You have to understand there's a difference between moving Barbados forward and moving your people forward. And I want to say this: building government housing, and because the government is not the only person building houses in Barbados. There are many other entities that are building houses in Barbados. But the government has been looking more on what we call low-income housing. There's no such thing as low-income housing in Barbados. But the reality of what we're looking at here is if you're going to build, if you're going to do a project in a prime location for a secondary airport, you're basically killing that vision.
Yes. Which is envisioned by Mr. Barrow, right, and trumpeted by Dennis Kelman, the former member of St. Lucie.
Yeah, it's right for Barbados to have a secondary airport, and if it's not an international airport for, you know, for heavier traffic aircraft, at least for private jets. I think Barbados, there's a place where Barbados needs to be properly monitored, and if Barbados is going to go international, if you're going to reach the standard of being an international destination, it is critical that there are amenities right across the island that provides the level of services that people will need. Because, you know, reality is that it's only in certain positions where certain things are. And that's one of the things I like about England. In England, everything is everywhere. And if Barbados is going to compete as an international destination, there is a need. For instance, let me say this quickly. If someone is on a tour and something happens to them, say in St. Joseph, where's your nearest medical facility? Okay? And again, if there's a need for an ambulance to come, where is the ambulance coming from? So there's a need for Barbados, you know, and our government to sit down and properly look at how we're going to map our country and how we're going to sell ourselves to the world that says, okay, if you come to Barbados, these are the things that are in place to make sure that you have a safe and also an enjoyable time.
Very well said. Because if you look at it, there are countries who we call small island and that sort of thing. They have two
Small island
airports.
developing states, yeah, small
Two
island.
airports.
Yes.
You know? And actually, even when you go to sports, it's only recently that we had a first-class ground in St. Lucie, which was North Stars. And they had some shooting of violence up there, and they used that as an excuse to want to shut North Stars down.
Right.
And what a silly excuse that they use, because if shooting is that, you have to close Kensington down.
Listen, there's been violence all over Barbados.
But no,
All types of playing fields in Barbados has experienced violence. But again, let me say this: Barbados and our governmental systems, when you pay attention, most of the playing fields across the island are maintained by individuals within that community. Okay, there's never really anything said, here's investment money, do what's necessary to make sure that this playing field reaches the standard that it needs to be. So again, there's a very high punishment system in Barbados, but a very low investment system.
a very low investment system. I'll repeat what I said. You have to close Kensington down, because right next door to Kensington is the Orleans and Chapman Lane and all those places. You have to close UWA down, because the students can't walk across the street unless they're mugged or shot at, right? But they use that to try to stymie St. Lucie, right? That's what they did, right? So, just so you know, we're just keeping a very close watch on that,
Yes.
and we're very much aware of what you're actually doing.
I'm glad that your show is making sure that there's a type of strong watchdog element over there.
But you know what? That's why we're here. We're here to bring these things to the light, and to let everyone know actually what is going on. Okay? We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Let's go.